Patch 1.2 might actually pull Necromancers out of F tier in tournament formatted PvP content. Barbarians, who are basically invincible in a 1v1 encounter versus a Necromancer who doesn't have enemy monsters to produce corpses off of, proc effects off of, they're just invincible. So the goal of this build, which is a complete clusterfuck I made in Paint, is to do a Barbarian about 8,000 to 12,000% weapon damage in 5 seconds. Good luck living. The basic goal of this is to use the new and improved Black River over here that can consume 25 corpses in 3 seconds during Bloodmist using the aspect of Explosive Mist up here. So Corpse Explosion will do 911% weapon damage all at once. This is not the Shadow Dot version. That is not useful in PvP. People will just walk out of it. It will consume 5 corpses per cast. Bloodmist will cast Corpse Explosion 5 times during the duration of Bloodmist, which is 3 seconds, for a total of 4,557% weapon damage before considering any other gear, stats, Paragon, glyphs, just the percentage scaling bonuses from Black River and Howl from Below. That's insane of amount of just burst damage. There are also a bunch of other things here that make our burst damage really high. Because we are consuming 25 corpses, we are producing about 7.5 Blood Orbs over here with aspect of the Embalmer. These Blood Orbs can then be used to auto-overpower Bloodlance Shotgun twice using the Gorequills aspect. Each Bloodlance launched by Gorequills will consume up to 3 Blood Orbs. If you queue up a automatic overpowered Bloodlance via Supernatural Bloodlance prior to executing this combo, you will automatically overpower off the Bloodlance from Supernatural Bloodlance, and then Rathma's Vigor will proc, and your second cast of Bloodlance will also automatically overpower. And this is important that you get 2 automatic overpowers because Gorequills will only eat 3 of our Blood Orbs per cast, and we will have around 8 Blood Orbs plus 1 generated by Supernatural Bloodlance. In addition to us just smacking the hell out of somebody with this burst window of 25 corpses being consumed and 2 automatic overpowered Bloodlances with the maximum number of Blood Orbs being used, we have minions. So we're giving them about 200% attack speed with Army of the Dead and Frenzied Dead, and there's only going to be 1 valid target. And speaking of Army of the Dead, this build only works because we're running Army of the Dead. In the new patch, Army of the Dead will produce 1 corpse whenever one of the skeletons explode. And Army of the Dead summons 3 skeletons a second for 7 seconds, so a total of 21 guaranteed corpses, plus a couple more from Hewed Flesh. 1 cast of Army of the Dead could lead to all 25 corpses you need to get the maximum value Black River, in addition to the 3 corpses generated by Bloodmist over its duration. Additionally, we have Bone Spirit here, just to do a big burst of damage. There are some interesting reasons we don't have Corpse Explosion or Corpse Tendrils on our bar. The main ones being, we don't have enough corpses. Bloodmist will eat every corpse we can even think of. This season's Vampiric powers are also really interesting. I'm assuming up here Infection is going to work on our minions' attacks, which will give them hopefully actual damage. I have not confirmed this. A couple of these other abilities are related to minions, including the Feed the Coven, which gives us effectively infinite resources, which will make Bone Spirit actually slap, I hope. One that gives auto vulnerable, so we don't need Corpse Tendrils to apply vulnerable. And I'm really excited, and this is another major reason we don't have corpse tendrils, is the terror aspect. This makes it so that when we fear a target, we guarantee critically strike them. I hope this also applies to minions, because that would be great. And this means if we wait to use our combo until the enemy gets feared, and then we immediately just press Bloodmist, we will have 100% crit chance on this burst that is coming from 5 corpse explosions with 5 corpses being eaten at the same each time. It's going to be huge, and hopefully that means we stop tickling barbarians and actually score kills in tournament settings. This build is pretty flexible. We can remove most of the minion stuff in order to get access to some of the new overpower and critical overpower affixes or aspects that have been introduced this season, and that might actually be the way to go. But as the resident Army of the Dead spammer, this is kind of more my jam for now. We'll see once, season actually comes out. In my build here, you will also see this new Tybalt's Will. This is probably going to be our biggest secured burst, because as soon as we press Bloodmist, we do our big dam, and Tybalt's Will gives us just 40% more damage the moment we Bloodmist. It also gives us a bunch of primary resource, so if we Bone Spirit, Bloodmist, Bone Spirit, like, we're just deleting the world, and it's going to be great. Though we do want to save some essence immediately after Bloodmist for our Bloodlance huge shotgun. Some of the rest of this build that might not be as obvious is, Decrepify. We get to cool down our CDR engine really well. Fast Blood is just our, to get our ultimate faster. We might have to give up one of these tasty treats here to get Army of the Dead, the cooldown faster. There's one of these is called Anticipation. It does 20% cooldown reduction and some dot stuff that doesn't matter. General skeletons loadout, we want to run Reapers, which are here, to get more corpses, because we will use all of the corpses. Mages, we have plenty of options. I'm going to try Bone. It might not work. I might even try this form of Bone, because they leave corpses when they die. And we need corpses. Probably just going to sack a Blood Golem for some health and some extra overpower damage. Stats, you'll figure out what works over time. I don't know. We're going to have stuff. It does damage. This is all going to be linked in the description, where you're just, putting 2 points in to move down, ignoring basic skills, grabbing some Bloodlance, grabbing everything we can in Corpse Explosion, trying to get as many, plus corpse damage skills we can. Picking up Bloodmist, we might put more points into this, just so that we have faster cooldowns on it and keep us alive in PvP. We are skipping the warrior stuff. We don't care, they're already immortal. But we're picking up the mages because we're hoping they actually do some damage in Season 2. They might not. We might just scrap all this. Necrotic Carapace does Fortify whenever we create a corpse. So Army of the Dead will give us like 60 million % Fortify the moment we cast it. What is it, 6% max life per corpse formed? And Army of the Dead is going to form 21? 25? Yeah, this is going to give us more than our max life and Fortify. You're running Rathma's Vigor because Shadow Blight is the only thing that's even remotely worth running, and we're not dotting. There is a variation where we run Blight instead of Bone Spirit, just to like slowly proc a Shadow Blight and then try to pull off our combo, but that would feel terrible. And if this doesn't work, it's the first thing I'm gonna try. But yeah, I don't want to have to farm Shadow Blight slowly. We're not casting Corpse Tendrils because we don't want this stun to go off. We do not want this stun. Players and enemies become immune to CC, hard CC, after receiving 2 hard CCs. And we want the fear from Howl from Below and the fear terror to be our hard CCs because we get 100% critical strike chance during that window. We want to stack crowd control duration so that that fear lasts as long as possible so we can make the best use of that 100% crit chance to just delete people. Paragon, I'm going to go pretty quick. These are not finalized. I just have some random, 5 board setup here. Some of the fun features is we got the exhumation glyph, which is new, and it will give us some really big dams on our corpse explosions so that our burst is noticeable. Control, just because, you press Decrepify and then you just do them a billion damage. This could even be switched to something else. I got the mage glyph here, so as long as I'm running mages, I'm going to try to make this work. And the cult leaderboard actually is a 70 intellect board, so this is actually one of the best places to put it. Dead Razor is completely a fucking trap. You do not need the damage reduction that badly for your minions, and it's only like 35% additive damage from these nodes versus the mage glyph is like 180, so like it's not even close. And warriors hit like wet noodles last I checked, so you just go mage and ignore the warriors. I'm also running, for now I'm running the vicious aspect to get 2 more mages along with the about 200% attack power or attack speed from these. I could probably skip most of the cult leaderboard to get more damage to my personal damage, but this is me being lazy, and I think I'm looking to run this build as soon as possible. So going first to, the first 3 Paragon glyphs I'm going to put are going to be exhumation, control, and I'm going to get control first probably, and mage. And then after that, you're a little bit more opened up to what you want to do. You definitely still want to get Flesh Eater here as fast as possible because it's always up. You're going to grab some extra Overpower stuff because the shotgun looks like it's going to be really cool from Gorquills. I'm not sure what to do here. This might actually be territorial in the future, just for the damage reduction and, better at fighting barbarians who will always be standing on you, basically. And what's really interesting, and this I have not fully got tested or confirmed, I actually need to fix this, whoops, is if you put one of the nodes here that boosts magic nodes within range. I'm not entirely certain, because I could be mixing up my games, but this plus 5% Blood Orb healing, I think is additive to the flat value, because I think I remember potions being a flat additive value, and I'm assuming Blood Orbs are a flat additive value. And what I mean by that is, if you have 15% Blood Orb healing, just base, that's like the normal amount it heals, and you get this, it now is 17.5%. It's not 2.5% more of 15%, it's 15 plus 2.5. And when you drop in this magic node here, the numbers get really silly. Adding 150% bonus to the 7.5% healing you get here, you get 18.75% added to your Blood Orb healing. So it almost doubles it. And then you add another 5%. And you end up with 38% of your max health every time you get a Blood Orb. And then when you pop the shotgun from Bloodlance and Gorquills, which will consume 3 Blood Orbs, you heal yourself for 116% of your max health per cast. After doing the combo of, Army of the Dead to produce a bajillion corpses, Bloodmist to cast 5 corpse explosions that consume 5 corpses each, you end up with 8 Blood Orbs, plus an additional one from Supernatural Bloodlance, so you end up with 9. So you have 3 different triggers that will produce your entire health bar and healing thanks to this glyph. And you can replace this with any of the bonuses that give you 150% bonus to magic nodes within range. I'm just using this one because all of our damage is physical. You've got the Bloodlance for physical damage, you've got the Corpse Explosion for physical damage, you've got the Bone Spirit for physical damage. Our mages are physical damage, although I don't know if this applies. Oh, yeah, you and your minions. Yeah, so your minions, if you're running bone minions, they'll do bonus damage. You could, put Amplify here. You could put pretty much anything. It would just slap. No, the bottom would slap, and the top would, I guess, like unslap because it's like healing. I don't know. Whatever. This is kind of a preview. the main things I wanted to just point out was like the ridiculousness of this possibly. It might only end up like way less healing. It might just be a percentage multiplier, and I could have my game math mixed up. But if it works the way I think it does, this is hilariously good for, you know, full healing yourself from one cast. So good luck killing me between, you know, because I Bloodmist, I'm invulnerable, and then you hit me down to 10% health because you're, you know, a rogue or something, and I just like cast a Bloodlance and I'm full. And then like that just gives me more time to Bloodmist again. And I can do it 3 times. That's great. Yeah, so there's a quick overview of the build. Obviously, you're going to have a better version of this coming out once I actually get to around level 70, 75, get to start playing with this. Hopefully, I get a Black River before level 90. And on a final note, this Tybalt's Will, this is really flexible. This is just, I'm using it, but I could just as easily not use this, or Tybalt's Will, and swap to like Blood Artisan's Curious to just spam out Bone Spirits, which would be fun. I could also use like the new helm they added. What is it? Godslayer's Crown. That's great. There's a different pants that actually might even be better. The Blood Moon Breaches. The bonus increased overpower damage could actually, like, if we lean more into the shotgun, this could be great and doesn't really cost a lot. And if we use this and the new necklace, that it's like a 2.2 modifier on crits that are also overpowers. Insane. So there's a lot of flexibility here. I'm going to play around with it. I really hope minions don't suck this season. I expect them to. Let me go back here. But who knows? Maybe we'll have some fun times. Obviously, I'm going to make a PvE version of this that uses the, you know, the dot version of Corpse Explosion. And it's going to look a lot more standard, like a Shadow Dot build that also just makes a bajillion corpses with Army of the Dead, and then, you know, cycles through Army of the Dead like every 6 seconds or something like that, like my previous builds. I hope somebody found value in this. I know it was a complete clusterfuck, and I just needed to make myself make a video. Even if I get one viewer who goes, "That's cool," I'm going to be happy. And the rest of you, you're probably not still watching this video. But it's okay. I needed to get something out there just to get, you know, back in the groove of making stuff. And yeah, have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video.